So over the past year, it's been no secret that James Charles has been befriending a lot of people in the gaming community.
A few months ago, when the game Among Us exploded and I started getting invited to different lobbies with some of the biggest gamers that I had been watching since I was a little kid, and it was so much fun getting to play with these people that I've always looked up to, and I honestly made quite a lot of really amazing friends as well.
And from the outside looking in, one of the strongest newfound friendships James Charles has developed is with Pokimane. I mean, why wouldn't he? Pokimane has been a fan of James Charles for a couple years now, and they seem to have a lot more in common with each other than James has with the other gamer boys. Their bond seems to have grown so strong that when James Charles decided to do his makeup video featuring gamers, he featured Pokimane first and had really nice things to say about her.
But I wanted this video to be off to a great start, so I wanted to call one of my gamer friends who always looks absolutely beautiful, so I called Pokimane. Hi, Poki!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really, really well. You look so cute. Well, thank you so much for being a part of my video today. You obviously are such an amazing gamer and are also one of the most beautiful people literally ever. So I figured...
Me? You're like the most symmetrical human being I've ever seen in my life.
That video you just watched was uploaded on March 12th, and you can see Pokimane and James Charles positively interacting with each other on Twitter as recently as March 25th. So based on these recent positive interactions, you would assume that Pokimane is supportive of her friend in regards to his recent controversy. For those of you who don't know, in late February, James Charles was accused of sexual interactions with an underage boy. During this time, James confirmed the interactions with the boy, but said that he was not aware of his age, and as soon as he became aware, he cut contact immediately. This makes him incredibly reckless and irresponsible, especially considering his past history with stuff like this, but it would not make him a child predator or a pedo, as a pedo would not back off of a child once he found out that they were a child. The alleged victim claims the opposite, saying that James Charles knew the age and continued sexual interactions despite knowing he's 16. So at this point, you can either trust James Charles' word or not trust James's word. And someone who very much doesn't trust James's word is Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas of the Frenemies podcast, who have been very critical of James Charles, talking about him in every episode of their podcast since the allegations came out. So it was very surprising when James Charles' friend Pokimane responded to one of Ethan's tweets talking about Trisha, saying that they are one of the most iconic dynamics to ever hit the web. Now, this compliment isn't extremely surprising, considering that we've known Pokimane has been a fan of the Frenemies podcast for a while, but that mention of the podcast was made before the serious allegations against James Charles, and before this iconic and dynamic duo called Pokimane's friend a child predator in every single episode of their podcast since the allegations came out.
Clearly, he has predatory behaviors.
And so he's a predator. He's a fucking predator. He's a predator. Like, there's no debating it.
There's no debating it.
He's just straight up a predator. Yeah, you're a predator, bro. He just looks like a fucking creep. And by the way, you seen his outfit at Coachella? Everyone's like, oh, Queen, go off. I was like, no, that's a fucking predator. James Charles should be forced to introduce himself to all of his neighbors as a sex criminal.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
You followed him, you fucking creep, liar, bitch, predator. Fuck you. I hate him.
I hate him.
You pathetic predator bitch.
Oh my God. Knowing this kid is
fucking
young.
Hate
He
him.
looks...
Really, all you wanted to do was fucking beat off to a child, you fuck.
Yeah, that's a messed up. That's
ulterior motives. Fuck you, dude. Chris Hansen, step in. I'm sorry, dude, but you are a danger to society. James Charles, who is proven to be a prolific predator.
James Charles, because he's a predator.
James Charles, who's out there predatoring on 16-year-old kids. James Charles is acting like nothing. He just posted a video, and that dude just literally just got outed for being a literal child predator.
Literally, he said, yes, I sent nudes, but he lied about his age.
Literal child predator. Like, this guy should be in jail.
They still support James Charles, you dumb prick.
I agree. That's fucked.
Predator. You guys love James. He's a predator.
Yeah,
it's perfect because I know that kids have always been your choice. So that works out perfectly. Oh, P.S. Nickelodeon, keep an eye on him during the after party.
So James Charles is a predator, but James Charles is a predator. And that's how James Charles likes his meat. Young.
You can make fun of James's looks because he's a P word. Like, you're promoting this guy to all your minor fans. It's so gross. It's so disturbing to me.
There you go. That's one of the most iconic dynamics to ever hit the web, according to James Charles's friend, Pokimane. Looking at this response after listening to those clips, puts it in such a negative light. The fact that you can support these people and their show after they said those things about someone who's supposed to be your friend makes me think your friendship with him is fake, whether it's just on your end or mutually, or that you continue to support someone who you think is a child predator just because it's easier to. You just simply can't have it both ways here. Either you think he's a potential child predator and you cut off connection with him completely, which she clearly didn't do, or you don't support the people who are calling your friend a child predator.
You know who you can
Ian?
make fun of? You can make fun of predators and people who support predators.
James is an actual dangerous predator, and anyone that associates with him is going to have to reckon with the fact that they put their own fans in danger of being preyed upon.
This is what happens. People just like, oh, whatever, it's cool. Like, he's famous, we'll do this. But it's like, later on, you have to like deal with the repercussions of this.
With accusations this serious, there's no in between here. Just the thought of me openly supporting someone I thought was a child predator, or openly supporting someone who is calling my friend a child predator, is just completely mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't know how you can be a good person and do that shit. And I'm not saying you can't be friends with someone and then enjoy someone else's content who has criticism against your friend. If this was 5 months ago and she enjoyed Ethan's content, despite him having serious criticisms of her friend's merch, I think that's fine. She can agree with Ethan's opinion and still be friends with James Charles, or disagree with Ethan's opinion and still support Ethan's content. But the accusation of being a child predator goes beyond simple opinion. This goes into the legality and morality territory. It is immoral to continue to associate with James Charles if you think he's a predator, and if you don't think he's a child predator, it is immoral to support the people who are calling your friend a child predator. And not just once, but consistently on every single episode of the podcast you are supporting. That's like if I was friends with Onision and gave Chris Hansen a compliment in regards to his YouTube coverage, the majority of which have been calling Onision a predator and advocating for his arrest. Even though the compliment is small, I just feel like any compliment of any magnitude towards someone who is so openly calling your friend something as egregious as a child predator signifies to me that their friendship is not as genuine as they like to imply. Now, a decent portion of you are probably thinking at this point, come on, Boblax, Josh, she's just giving a simple compliment to another creator. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't know, man. When you take into account that like 50% of Ethan's Twitter is calling James Charles a predator in some fashion, a Twitter account that she follows and replied to here, the fact that she watches the show and in every single episode, they outright call James Charles a predator. I mean, unless you assume Pokimane is stupid, the only result here is that she's a fake friend or a bad friend. And if I am going to give her the benefit of the doubt, as backwards as it seems, I would have to say that she's a fake friend. Because here's the thing, I feel like a lot of these larger content creator friendships are more transactional than both you and me realize. There's no merit to them. If it wasn't for their sub count, they wouldn't be friends at all. And the fact that that's the case is just such a shame to me. But I don't know, that's just a theory I have. I don't really have many ways of actually knowing the inner workings of most of high creator friendships. I'm sure maybe some are genuine, some are transactional. A lot of the times it's both. When I see people like Dream and George Not Found coming up together, I can definitely see that type of friendship being genuine. But with someone like Pokimane and James Charles, who both came to the top on their own in their own respective genres, I guess it's not a surprise that their friendship is not genuine. But maybe I'm just giving too much benefit of the doubt to Poki. Maybe Poki's the only fake one and everybody else is genuine. I have no idea. The fact that the best way I can defend Poki here is by saying that there's other people just as fake as her is really telling. But that's just my opinion. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments section below. If you want to see more situations in which Pokimane is fake, because this isn't the first time she's acted this way, I have various videos on previous controversies involving her, so if you want to check those out, I will leave them in the end card in the description below. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting the channel, in particular Scrubby, who decided to donate $100 a month. That is absolutely insane. Thank you so much, dude. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.